I wonder about the trees. Why do we wish to bear forever the noise of these? More than another noise, so close to our dwelling place. We suffer them by the day, till we lose all measure of pace and fixity in our joys, and acquire a listening ear. They are that talks of going, but never gets away, and that talks no less for knowing, as it grows wiser and older, that now it means to stay. My feet tug at the floor, and my head sways to my shoulder. Sometimes, when I watch trees sway from the window or the door, I shall set forth for somewhere. I shall make the reckless choice some day when they are in voice and tossing so as to scare the white clouds over them on. I shall have less to say, but I shall be gone. I wonder about the trees. This opening line of the poem is like the topic sentence. It denotes what the poem is going to be about. The poet thinks about the trees. To know what specifically he thinks about trees, we should read the poem further. Why do we wish to bear forever the noise of these? The poet is trying to investigate the reason behind our liking for the sound of trees. It is so pleasant that we would never get bored, hence is used the word forever. How do trees make sound? They make sound while swaying in the breeze. This sound can also be called as rustle. Note that the poet has used the word noise, which is different from music. What is the difference between noise and music? Both are sounds, but noise does not follow a pattern while music follows. In this respect, the sound made by the trees does not follow a pattern. Therefore, it is not music. Then, can it be called noise? No, certainly, because the other aspect of noise is that it is unpleasant and music is pleasing to the ears. The sound of the trees are pleasant. The poet has made a pun on the word. More than another noise so close to our dwelling place. These lines are a continuation of the previous lines and so should be read together like, why do we wish to bear forever the noise of these, more than another noise so close to our dwelling place? We like the sound of trees more than the sounds which we hear day to day in and around the place we live, which are actually noises such as the doorbell, door knocking, door creaking of the utensils, etc. etc. The poet is just making a comparison between something natural and pleasant and something artificial and unpleasant. We suffer them by the day. The poet says that we suffer the sound of the trees throughout the day. Note the word suffer, which again is a pun attempted by the poet as an extension to the description of the sound of trees as a noise. The real meaning is that we enjoy them by the day. The positive meaning for such words is derived from the second line of the poem, which reads, why do we wish to bear forever the noise of these? The word wish makes all the difference. Till we lose all measure of pace. Continued from the previous line, the speaker says that during the day, when we go on walking through the trees, we would never know how long we have walked or how short we have moved from our place, owing to being lost in getting pleased by the sound of the trees. We lose measure of pace. Till we lose all measure of pace and fixity in our joys. And also, we'll lose the measure of the fixity in our joys, in the sense that we will not be able to measure the amount of joy we would draw from listening to the beautiful sound. The joy is fixed, but the amount of it is not fixed, which keeps increasing as long as we are engaged to it. And acquire a listening ear. By being amidst such a surrounding, we get air which can be listened to because it bears the beautiful sound of the trees. We get to hear this pleasing sound in plenty as much as we can get air in abundance. They are that talks of going but never gets away. The trees are like that thing which talks of leaving the place but never goes away. This can be understood like when people are talking to each other for a long time, they surely come to a point to say goodbye and part. Similarly, when we listen to the sounds of the trees for a long time, we tend to think that this sound has to come to an end, but it does not end at all and keeps continuing. This kind of a feeling is explained in these lines. And that talks no less for knowing as it grows wiser and older. And these trees kind of talk like that thing which talks for knowing more and more. This makes us think about it to have grown wiser. Considering the time of its pursuit, which is happening for a long time, it is also growing older. This is a comparison just to say that the trees never cease to make the beautiful rustling sound irrespective of time. That now it means to stay. Considering that the thing probably is going to end its talk and say goodbye, the poet made the previous statement. But seeing that nothing changed, he says that the thing probably means to say that it will stay and not leave. In simple, the poet has started to think that the trees mean to stay rather than say goodbye, which the poet assumed previously. My feet tug at the floor. The poet is not able to move from the place as he is so much emotionally attached to the beautiful rustling sound. And my head sways to my shoulder sometimes when I watch trees sway from the window or the door. The poet is so involved in enjoying the sight of the trees that he sways his head along with the swaying trees, be it through the window or the door. I shall set forth for somewhere. I shall make the reckless choice. Some day when they are in voice and tossing so as to scare the white clouds over them on, I shall have less to say, but I shall be gone. The poet decides for leaving the place. He had been making guesses of what the trees say by their sound. Now he says that even if someday the trees would have a voice to say clearly what they want to say, the poet shall have to leave. He himself calls this decision of his to be reckless, thoughtless, because he had wanted to understand what the trees had to say, and even if they are able to say, he would decide to leave. The trees getting voice is impossible, and this is why the poet himself goes further to say that the clouds would get scared if it happened so. Even at that point of time when he can enjoy with understanding when trees could say something, he would have nothing to say but just be gone. The reason for his being gone is not given in the poem, but it can be derived from analyzing his general notion with which he deals in his poems. The reason is that he has responsibilities to fulfill, and so he cannot spend much time in admiring nature. This is most evident in the last lines of his poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, which reads, "The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep." In short, the speaker wonders about the sound of the trees. He says that we like the sound more than the regular noises we hear every day. We can enjoy the whole day hearing to the rustling sound of the trees, to lose track of our own self and experience overwhelming joy by such a pleasant sound in plenty as much as the air. They never cease to rustle and do so across ages remaining there. The speaker is fixed to the place with fascination and sways along with the trees. Despite praising so much, the speaker says that he may leave for somewhere else, even if the trees spoke to him owing to the responsibilities he ought to fulfill. The rhyme scheme of this poem is irregular, but every line rhymes with some line or the other. No line is left alone without a rhyme pair. The word trees with these, bear with air, somewhere and scare, noise with joys, place with pace, day with away, stay, sway and say, going with knowing, older with shoulder, floor with door, choice with voice, on with gone. The rhyme scheme could be said as AB, AC, DED, CB, FEF, GEH, GEH, BII, BJ, EJ. In line number 3, forever the noise of these, the poet has made a pun on the word noise as explained earlier. This style is called paranomasia. In line number 6, we suffer them by the day, the poet means enjoy by the word suffer. This is a figure of speech in which it means the opposite. This device is called irony. In line number 10, they are that talks of going. The trees are referred directly to something without the use of the word like. Such a reference or comparison is a figure of speech called metaphor. From the same line to line number 14, the thing to which the trees are compared are given humanistic characteristics such as talking, going, knowing, to be wise, older, and to mean to stay. Such a device is also a figure of speech called personification. From lines 21 to 23, personification is again used for trees and clouds.